They really did it. Texans draft a tackle number 59 overall. What is the plan with Blake Fisher? What does it mean for Titus Howard and Laramie Tunsil, if anything? Let's hear from the man himself, and let's break down perhaps the most jaw-dropping, alarming pick made by the Houston Texans on day 2 of the draft. Getting to know and breaking down Blake Fisher in the locker room.
Yeah. It's the Locker Room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, Locker Room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do.
Drafting a corner is one thing. Drafting a tackle, number 59 overall, will have the internet going nuts. It is the Locker Room, number one source for Texans daily digital content. I'm Landry Locker. We'll hear from Blake Fisher in a sec, get to know him a little bit. We'll try to get into the best case, worst case scenario for him, but the Texans selected the Notre Dame tackle number 59 overall. A lot of time at right tackle, 25 starts, redshirt sophomore. At one point, he was a 5-star guy, one of the top recruits in the nation. And there are some scouts who said perhaps he could have used another year in college. He obviously had Joe Alt on the other side, who went top 5 in the draft. So there was that. I'll be honest, I don't pretend to be an offensive line guru or anything like that. I will say when you watch his highlights, he looks like a massive human being. And if you were creating a player in Madden or something like that to be a tackle, he might look like Blake Fisher. I think the expectations are interesting with Fisher because in a perfect world, you don't even want him to step on the field, right? You're paying Titus Howard like a top 5 tackle in the league. You're paying Laramie Tunsil like the best at his position, top 5 right tackle. So based on that investment, you don't want the guy to even step on the field. Now, that's not realistic given that Tunsil has missed time and Titus Howard has missed time. So maybe him developing into a swing tackle that is immediately ready to contribute is the best case scenario in year 1. But really, you can make a case that the best case is he doesn't step on the field, right? Because if he beats out Titus Howard, that means you're paying a guy like he's top 5 at his position, and he's clearly not. Now, Nick Caserio has said he wants to create competition where guys are going to have to perform at a high level to stay in the building. So there is that. But the best case for Fisher is he's a swing tackle, he develops, and he doesn't step on the field this year. And when he does, which is perhaps more realistic, when he does, he's ready to contribute. And outside of the normal growing pains, he continues to improve and establishes himself as a guy that eventually you'll feel good about as the starting tackle. I mean, ideally, you would like him to develop into such a good player that in 2 years, when you're paying CJ Stroud like an elite quarterback, you're basically saying goodbye to either Tunsil or Howard. You want to feel that good about him. That's the dream scenario, is that this guy deserves a starting role, and you're able to make tough financial decisions that teams that are paying quarterbacks eventually have to make. But in the short term, you would hope that he doesn't come on the field, but he doesn't step on the field. And when he does, he's ready to go because it is realistic that he's gonna be out there. So that's the best case. Worst case, the guy's developmental. He looks a lot like Charlie Heck. It's kind of a roller coaster, and he doesn't establish himself, in year 3 as a guy that you trust to be a starting offensive lineman, starting tackle, and protect CJ Stroud. So this is really kind of a developmental pick. It's kind of a depth pick. I don't think too many people are going to get excited about a swing tackle, especially knowing that Nick Caserio says that they have 2 of the best tackles in the league. But again, guys get hurt. So sometimes you have to make these types of decisions, and you have to think in the 2-year window, and you have to get that insurance. So we'll see how it goes with him. I don't expect anyone to be like pumped about this. If you're pumped about this, it's because you trust the Houston Texans, and you were probably gonna cheer the pick no matter what. But I mean, we kind of rolled our eyes at some of these mock drafts that had the Texans selecting a tackle. Well, I'll be damned. they selected a tackle. Maybe it wasn't their first plan. Maybe this was kind of a backup plan. But hopefully they've drafted a guy that can be a quality starter in a couple of years, and a guy that if and when he's called upon to play for either Tunsil or Howard, he's ready to do that. And if he beats out Titus Howard, I guess that's a good thing for him, but it's a bad thing for their investment in the offensive line, which, by the way, I think you should have trust issues with if you are a Texans fan. I said this about the first pick that Nick Caserio made with Leicester. I think they've earned trust when it comes to corners. Offensive line, not so much. The evaluation process, whatever, it hasn't gone as well as you'd like. You drafted Kenyon Green, a guard in the first round. That's been kind of a disaster for a number of reasons. That hasn't looked well. You gave Titus Howard the extension. You insist that he's one of the best tackles in the league. We'll see about that. And then the interior's kind of been a little bit of a wreck. Shaq Mason's been all right, but we don't know what to think of Patterson and Scruggs. Those guys going to be solid contributors. There's at least a reservation about the offensive line evaluation. Let's hear from the man himself. I've spoken enough. Let's hear from Blake Fisher. Let's hear him.
NBC Houston. Congratulations on being drafted by the Texans.
Thank you.
Blake, how would you describe your game? And I have a follow-up. Thank you.
Yeah, my game just dominant. Always looking to find work. Always looking to find ways to help the boys next to me, the guys next to me, and then on top of that, just finish. I think that's the biggest thing, is just finishing.
Blake, did you have an inkling that the Texans were very interested in you? Did you meet with them, visit with them, and what's your thoughts on joining a team that has experienced offensive linemen and Titus Howard and Laramie Tunsil? Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely say, I met with them during the combine. Had a formal visit with them, and then I would say, I had a couple of Zooms with them, but didn't know the interest was this high. But
didn't know the interest was this high. That's basically a way of saying, "Damn, I can't believe I went 59."
Love this opportunity, especially being able to be, back with, one of my OGs from, college, Jared Patterson, and, then, young and up growing team, just being able to contribute, just bring, what I bring to the game, to this program or to this organization.
Cody
Davis from Sports Illustrated. Blake, I was actually going to ask you, what do you remember about playing alongside your former college teammate, Jared Patterson?
Yeah, man, when I first got to Indy, he was just, the guy that always took me in, always, just making sure that I was good on, plays, different stuff like that, just making sure I'm ready to go. He believed in me, from day one. I told him, I want to come in and start as a freshman, and then, just having, the role of a vet, a leader, taking me under and then just showing me the ropes, really. So, I love JP, man. That's my dog. I'm so excited to get back with him.
Cole Thompson,
Texans Wire, USA Today. Blake, congratulations on being selected. Welcome to Houston. It's a two-part question. Part one, what do you remember about watching CJ Stroud in college and how he's translated to the NFL? And then part two, how excited are you to be a part of an offense that took new heights last year and was one of the main reasons why this team made it to the postseason?
For sure. I would just say dominant, CJ's a baller. His mentality every time he hits the field is a winner's mentality. And then, his offensive line being able to block for him, put him in the best position, as possible. Excuse me. Him being, his offensive line, being able to block for him, put him in the best position as possible. And then, him just going to work, being a great athlete, being a great leader. You can see it, the guys around the team there really respect him. You can tell, you can see that. So, really, seeing the camaraderie that they have amongst the offensive line, and their QB, and so on and so forth is really exciting to join.
Jonathan Alexander.
Blake, congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Being drafted. Yeah. I was curious, why didn't you think the Texans interest was that high? And then I'll ask you a question after that.
Yeah. They kind of hit it, you know what I mean? Like, like when you can kind of tell, when you kind of sense like, okay, like this team could be in the play. But I really didn't get any signs from them. I had a quick Zoom with them, a couple weeks ago, and that was it. And then for about the combine, I haven't heard anything else really. So to kind of know that there was a team, interested, in me, kind of, under the rug, if you will, is a blessing. A blessing for sure. Let me know that somebody believes in me and believes that I can be a big contribution to to the group.
And secondly, what were your overall impressions? I know you've spoken a little bit about it through the previous questions, but what were your overall impressions of them? And
great coaching staff. They love ball. On top of loving ball, they just really love their players. Players, coaches. Really want their players to be successful and want to find all the ways that they can. Help their players be successful.
Brian Bearfield.
Hey, what's going on, Blake? Brian Bearfield. Call me Sarge. Big Sarge Media. I have two quick questions for you. First, have you ever been to Houston, or what do you know about Houston?
Nah, I've never been to Houston before, so tomorrow will be my first time being in Houston. Yep. I trained in Dallas for the combine. Trained in Dallas for the combine, never been to Houston. Always heard, Houston's a great place. Everybody says everything's bigger in Texas. So I'm sure Houston, is the same. Pretty good food. Not pretty, really good food. Really good food out in Dallas. I don't know what it's like in Houston, so definitely excited to see.
And the second question I have for you is, I see the excitement on your face and how excited is your family for this opportunity for you to play in the NFL?
For sure. Man, it's a blessing. I've been through a lot. Been through a lot, man. Ups and downs of college, getting hurt freshman year, coming back. And then, just the opportunity to, play at the highest level. And then, bring my, physical, mental, mentality, all that, to that O-line group, there in Houston. And, just give them what I provide. Back with my guy, Jared Patterson. So, parents and family and so forth know that going into it. So it's exciting, when you can be back with a guy that took you under his wing as a freshman and, saw you grow, was excited for you. I was just on the phone with him, just called him. So, like, it's love, man. It's exciting.
Thank you.
Kim Davis.
Hey, Blake, it's Kim Davis from Chalk Talk. Congratulations and welcome to Houston.
Thank you.
I have kind of a two-part question. First, you said you talked to Jared today. Prior to that, had he talked much? Had you talked to him? Did you know much about this team from him prior to today?
Yeah, man, JP. I talk to JP quite often, really. Especially going through this process, is making sure that I'm crossing my I's or dotting my I's, crossing my T's on everything. And if I'm unaware about something, just reaching out to him and asking him for confirmation and or just his thought on it. Going through the process, but I would definitely say, JP he's a great dude, great football player. It's exciting to be back with him for sure.
And the second thing is, I know that you have played a lot of tackle. They say that you're really versatile. Are you comfortable on the inside as well?
No way.
Yeah, I never play inside,
no
but
way.
I'm not opposed to being on the inside.
No way.
I feel like I'm a versatile player. I feel like there's a lot that I can do in my game. Left, right tackle. But really, I just want to come in and contribute. Wherever that is. Left tackle, right guard, left guard. Never played center before. So if that's what they want, I got it. But my my dog JP's at center, so I think he can hold it down. In there in the middle. But nah, man, I'm excited.
All right, thank you. Congratulations again.
Yes, ma'am.
Brandon Scott.
What's up, B. Scott?
Hey, man, Brandon Scott, Sports Radio 610. Congratulations on the pick, man.
What's up, B? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I just wanted to ask you, like, what's the biggest lesson that you learned that you feel like prepared you for this moment? You talk about going through a lot. But what would you say is like the biggest lesson you learned that you feel like prepared you for this moment and your next challenge in life here?
Yeah, man. I would just say be at where your feet are. I think sometimes I wanted to kind of get ahead of myself a little bit. Man, I feel like I should have went there, or man, like I just, I'm just anxious, stressed, But this whole process, like like I said before, it's a blessing, right? So within that blessing, there's going to be adversity, that comes, even without, the last 2 days, whatever, it's been a day and a half. But I knew God had a plan, and man, God did.
Last one for Aaron.
Hey, Blake, here's
A-Dub.
in your draft process, did you go on a lot of visits? What are some that you remember in the process and how to follow up?
Yeah, at 12:30, I went to both Ohio teams, Cincinnati, and Cleveland, Miami, Steelers, my Philly, Colts, Bears. Went to I'm trying to think. Went to
You're good, man. You're good.
Carolina, San Francisco. So yeah, it's kind of all over the map.
And when you think about, reaching this goal, what does it mean to you? Is this something you always thought was possible? Is this something that in the only last few years you thought, hey, I'm going to be an NFL player? Thank you.
Yeah, man, absolutely. This is a dream come true. This is all I ever wanted. All I ever wanted, this moment. And going to a great team like the Texans. I'm excited, man. Just excited to come in and go to work.
He's a guy to like, that's for sure. Seems like a really, really, really good young man. Feel old saying that, but it does feel somewhat appropriate. Does seem excited about being reunited with Jordan Patterson. So we have the Alabama corner of the locker room. Maybe they'll get a little Notre Dame joint going as well. Again, best case scenario, he doesn't step on the field early. Realistically, though, if you look at injuries, he might have to. Hopefully, he's ready to be a quality swing tackle in the short term and in the long term. If he can develop into a guy that's starting caliber, once you have to make these tough decisions, when CJ Stroud's on that off of that rookie deal, maybe he's a Titus Howard or Laramie Tunsil replacement. If he's replacing either one of those guys early, that means either one of them have gotten hurt or he's better than you thought he was, or they're not as good. But who knows? Nick Caserio says you got two of the best starting tackles in the league. We know for sure they got one. Now they got another tackle in Blake Fisher. What do you think about the Blake Fisher pick? I'll put it this way. I get the long-term thought process and short-term ish, but in the short term in the next season, don't know how much we see him make a significant contribution. It could be a massive one in the future. That's Blake Fisher. That's the breakdown. Be sure to subscribe, like, right along. It is the Locker Room, number one source for Texans daily digital content. I'm Landry Locker. Thanks for coming through.
Hey, locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the post.